Episode 18, True Blue to the Rescue. So, you remember those two sentient vehicles that the Turbo Rangers had, a Lightning Cruiser and Storm Blaster? You know, Divatox kidnapped both of them at the finale of Turbo. Yeah, well, Storm Blaster managed to escape from Divatox, and yeah, it went to Earth. And I love Divatox in the beginning of this episode. Like, she went to ask Astronema for help. That scene was hilarious. You're like, hello, Astronema, darling. You know, being all fake, nice, and great. Astronema just didn't care, and she closed off communications with Divatox, and then she went to go send forces to catch Storm Blaster. It was great. So yeah, Storm Blaster went to Earth, and then went to Justin and asked Justin for help. The other Rangers went down to Earth to stop, like, the monsters, whatever, and all 5 of the In-Space Rangers got kidnapped by said monsters and were holed up in some warehouse and chained. So yeah, Justin had to go save the Space Rangers and Storm Blaster, and Storm Blaster had an extra morpher in the car. Like, what? I don't even begin to know, and a lot of fans have their own little theories about it. I'm just gonna say that car somehow charged up Justin's morpher. I don't know. It's magic. Zordon's master plan. I don't know. Storm Blaster went into the warehouse. Justin started kicking ass. And I really like the scene where Justin was fighting the Quantrons unmorphed. I don't know. It's just like, it's kind of cool to see a kid kick that kind of ass, you know. You wouldn't think a kid could fight like that, but you know, Justin was getting it, and then he morphed and saved the day. I don't know. I really do like this little miniature team up. I don't know. I mean, Justin is not like my favorite character or anything, but I never hated him. So, you know, and he did a pretty good job in this team up. Like, he showed that, you know, he's still a skilled ranger, even though he's like 10. So, whatever. So, yeah, and at the end, they all went back to this planet where Divatox is holding Lightning Cruiser, and they saved Lightning Cruiser too. So, they saved both of their cars. Yay. So, yes, episode 20, Survival of the Silver. In this episode, we learned that Andros used to have a partner who fought alongside him, the Silver Ranger. So yes, their ship got damaged in some alien attack, and the Rangers noticed that during the damage, like, a door had popped open, and they went to go in, and they saw that there was this guy who was stuck in a cryogenic tube, you know, trying to heal and whatever. He's like on life support. And then Andros saw that they saw it, and then he had to come clean and explain why he has this guy's body locked in here. So yeah, Andros explained the story, like, during the attack on his planet. Like, 2 years ago, Dark Spectre attacked his planet of KO-35, and, you know, just wrecked the place and made everybody abandon the planet. But yeah, during the battle, Andros got really hurt and he was about to die, and then his friend, the Silver Ranger, stepped in and took the blow for him, and then both him and the monster had blew up, and Zane was really injured, and he would have died if Andros didn't put him in the cryogenic tube and try to save his life. It's very deep, man, very deep. He said that Zane was like his best friend, and they fought together as a team for a while, so, you know, it was kind of sad. And it showed, like, he was in that cryogenic tube for 2 years and there had been no improvement, but Andros couldn't let him just die, you know, his best friend. So yeah, during the monster attack and all that, the ship got messed up even more, so the power went out on the cryogenic tube. But, you know, the little joke was able to wake up Zane, and he woke up and he kicked a lot of ass and he helped save the day. So, yeah. And Zane is an interesting character. He's not like Andros at all. Like, Andros is kind of shy and he's the loner type. Zane is very outgoing and crazy, and I don't know how to describe Zane, really. I really don't. He's a character, but I do like him. I mean, he's not exactly the best person in the universe, but he's an entertaining character to watch. Let's see, episode 21. So I don't know if I mentioned it, but Ashley has an attraction to Andros, and she's been trying to get in his pants, like, the majority of this season. And Andros likes Ashley back. And in this episode, Andros was trying to work up the courage to ask Ashley out. But then he noticed that Ashley was spending a lot of time with his best friend, the Silver Ranger. And he got really jealous about this, you know. And he got jealous to the point where he even forbid Zane to join them on the battle. And this is another thing that a lot of people like to throw into Andros' face. Like, man, you see, what kind of leader is that? He gonna forbid a teammate from going to help them battle, you know, just because he's jealous or something? Well, you know what? Andros is human, you know. People make mistakes. I mean, like, how would you feel if if you thought your best friend was macking on your girl? Like, whatever. They eventually got over the misunderstanding. They're like, look, man, I know that you like her. I wouldn't step on your toes. And besides, you know, every time me and Ashley were together, she mostly asked me questions about you. And another thing about Zane apparently is a very famous Power Ranger. Like, you know, when I think in the Red with Envy episode, like, he had a fight with Ecliptor, and Ecliptor was like, the legendary Silver Ranger lives, like, legendary. So it's like, Zane must have kicked, like, a lot of ass in his day before he got his own ass handed to him. So I'm like, So I say that Zane is not the best person because he did, like, a lot of questionable things. So Zane, there was an episode, like, we learned that Zane's powers were, like, not working that great due to him being in the cryogenic tube for so long. His powers were, like, draining away, so he can only stay more for, like, 2 minutes. He didn't tell the other Rangers this. He just told Alpha. He just wanted Alpha to run tests on him and whatnot to figure it out. So while he and Alpha were talking about his powers, Andros and Cassie just happened to overhear, and they misunderstood what they were talking about, and they actually thought that Zane was going to die. And, you know, Andros and Cassie told the other Rangers this, that Zane is going to die soon. And, you know, when Zane realized that they thought he was going to die, did he correct them? No. He just let them keep thinking that because the Rangers were being overly nice to him and, like, pampering him and crap. Like, really? What kind of Rangers is it? And then there was the other little thing of him dating Astronema. Briefly. Yes, him dating the Princess of Evil. Briefly. A Date with Danger, episode 23. So in that episode, one of Astronema's monsters turns on her and injures her, and Zane saves her and gets her out of danger. And then after that, they start developing these little feelings for each other, and they even schedule to have a freaking date with each other. It's like, really? Really? I mean, I like the episode and all, and I don't blame Zane for wanting to date Astronema. I mean, look at her, but she is the Princess of Evil. And there was even a brief moment, like, the Rangers were in battle with a monster, and he tried to just avoid the shit so that he didn't have to help the Rangers fight. Like, really? What kind of mess? Well, whatever. He shows up, he helps the Rangers fight, then he quickly leaves and lets them do, like, the cleanup when the monster grows giant so he can get to his date on time. But he was late to the date, and Astronema would have none of it, and she says, I never want to see you again, and she shocks him with her lightning and leaves and all that crap. It's a very funny episode, though, but seriously, Zane is a questionable person. It's episode 25. I can't skip that. Oh my god, there's too much story in that space. Episode 25 is the episode where Carlos starts to doubt himself again. It's basically that episode in Turbo where Carlos doubts himself because he injured a friend on the soccer team. It's basically that episode, but it's done a little better here because he injures a Power Ranger teammate during an alien fight. So there's that. He accidentally injures Cassie, and after he does that, he doesn't really want to fight anymore. He feels that he's a bad Ranger and actually quits being a Ranger. But yeah, so yeah, he was going through all of that, and then he was fighting this monster again by himself, and then Adam shows up just randomly out the blue. I don't know why. Zordon's master plan. Adam shows up and he helps fight this monster. And then he offers to help train Carlos so he become a better Power Ranger and not hurt his friends in the battle anymore again. And the training was actually pretty cool. And it's like, damn, Adam can kick ass. Like, man, he's a great martial artist. But yeah, Carlos said, you know what, fuck this trading. I'll never be a good Ranger. I'm no Power Ranger. So yeah, and then he quit. After Carlos leaves, Adam was talking with Alpha 6. And Adam had like his broken morpher. Which is interesting, his broken Mighty Morphin morpher. He was like, I wonder if this thing still works. And I was like, oh my god, no, throw that shit in the trash. Like, the power coins were destroyed, which means morphing could destroy you. You know, and Adam's like, man, Alpha, calm down, it's just a thought. Oh, you know. So yeah, then that monster shows up again. But Carlos had gave up being a Power Ranger, so he didn't have his morph on him. So Carlos is trying to fight the monster, you know, as a human. He's getting beat up. Adam tried to fight him. He was getting beat up. You know, but so, like, they were going to die. So Adam had no choice but to use the broken-ass morpher to become the Black Ranger. And he morphed, and it was freaking awesome. you know, Morphin could have killed him. He said, you know what, I gotta do what I gotta do. And it was a good fight. And you know, eventually the other Rangers showed up and they gave Carlos his morpher back, and he morphed, and he ended up, you know, saving the day, getting his confidence back, etc., etc. And he got to see two Black Rangers fighting together. It's an awesome episode, man. I love it. I try not to think about why Adam just didn't use his Zeo powers or something like that. I'm just gonna say Zordon took those Zeo powers with him when he went to Eltor. In episode 26, The Secret of the Locket, things start to hit the fan. Like, we learned some interesting information. In the episode, Andros has a fight with Darkonda, like, where's my sister? Tell me now, da 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 da. And Darkonda escapes the battle eventually. Then we also have this scene with Astronema in her dark fortress, and she's talking with Ecliptor, and she's like, so tell me about what happened with my parents and my brother again. You know, just randomly. I don't know why, but whatever. We have to get the plot going somehow. So she asks him this, and then he's like, so, you know, your parents and your brother were destroyed by the Power Rangers. Parents and brother were destroyed by the Power Rangers, huh? I see. So this is why she's evil. Astronema thinks that the Power Rangers destroyed her parents and whatever. So yeah, later in the episode, Astronema goes down to Earth with some Quantrons and a monster, and they attack the city, and the Rangers show up to fight her. But later on in the episode, Andros and Astronema have a fight, and he tears off this locket she's always wearing and whatever. She loses in battle, and she disappears, and then the Rangers have to fight this monster that they're fighting. They eventually destroy her monster, and then Andros goes back for that locket. He looks at it, and he sees the little picture, and it's a picture of him when he was a kid and his sister when she was a kid. And then Astronema shows back up, and Andrew's like, where did you get this locket? She's like, I always had it, give it here. And then he pulls out his locket, and he's like, I always had mine too. It's like, oh my God, they're brother and sister. I swear, if adult me watched this, this would be the most obvious thing ever. But kid me was like, oh my God, this was just mind-blowing as a kid. So in episode 27, Astronema thinks twice. Astronema is really conflicted. She has a lot to think about. She doesn't know if she really is evil or if she should become good. She doesn't know if the Red Ranger really is her brother or if he's just lying. You know, she has a lot to think about. And she's trying to talk to Ecliptor about it. She's like, why did you lie to me? Why did you not tell me the truth about my brother, etc., etc.? And he was like, you know, it's because I'm evil, like I was built that way, you know, but you were born to be good, and it's only after years under my tutelage that you rose to become, you know, the evil war general that you are today and whatever, you know. And she's like, so you were afraid if I knew the truth that I would become good, you know. And he was like, you won't become good, will you? You know, and I like the whole dialogue. It shows how close they are and stuff, because he did raise Astronema since she was a kid and whatnot. So, you know, it was a nice scene. And meanwhile, Darkonda, treacherous snake that he is, was talking with Dark Spectre and trying to make Dark Spectre think that he can't trust Astronema anymore because she knows the truth now. And, you know, because Darkonda is coming for Astronema's spot. But, you know, Dark Spectre's like, nope, I'm going to test her loyalty. And Astronema knew that Dark Spectre was going to test her loyalty and whatnot. So she is still conflicted. So she's like, you know what, I'm evil, I'm right here. I am going to stay that way. I am the princess of evil. So yeah, she summoned the monster to go kill Andros. So the monster went and found Andros because Andros was like snooping around KO-35 for whatever reason. And then the monster attacked him and whatnot. And it knocked Andros' morph away. So Andros had to fight the monster unmorph, and he was getting his ass whooped. And Astronema showed up to see the battle, but then she started, you know, to feel for her brother, and she didn't want him to die, so she threw his morpher to him and left. And then Andros morphed and fought them off, and the other Rangers showed up and helped them, and yeah. And at the end of the episode, Astronema had contacted Andros from the ship and asked him to meet her on the planet, and then they talked for a bit, and then yeah, Andros brought her back to the ship. So, which leads to episode 28, A Ranger's Leap of Fate, and yet another criticism that a lot of Power Ranger fans like to bring to Andros is that he let his sister on the ship, because his sister for most of the season so far has been their main villain, and he just quickly trusted her and threw on the ship, you know, and like nobody really knows if she's really turning good or if she's just playing it and still evil and whatnot. And the other Rangers were not a fan of bringing Astronema on the ship at all. They all were worried about her being on there. And a lot of fans think that, you know, as a leader, it was a very stupid thing for Andros to do. They also seem to ignore the fact that Andros was right about his sister being good. She really did turn good during this thing, so, you know, he was not wrong to bring on the ship. But whatever, if you guys want to criticize Andros so badly, but whatever, bias aside, I kind of see why, you know, bringing her on the ship wasn't the best idea. But at the end of the day, he wasn't wrong about his sister, so whatever, you know. And yeah, TJ does get props for saying, like, you know what, like, we cannot trust her, you know, we have to keep that heifer in chains, you know. So, you know, he had TJ there to help him out with some stuff, so whatever. It was his sister, give him a break. So yeah, I don't want to get into everything that happened in episode 28 because it was a lot going on. Point is, the episode did prove that she really was good and loved the Rangers and whatever. Yep. Episode 29 and 30, Dark Specter's Revenge Part 1 and 2. Two of my favorite episodes of the season. Astronema fully reformed. She's going by her birth name, Corone and whatnot, and she's made an honorary Power Ranger, all that. But Dark Specter is not taking any of this lying down. He wants his servant back. So he sends the asteroid to hit the Earth and destroy it. And the Rangers try everything to stop it. And it has like a lot of good action in this. So they fly to the asteroid and they try to like plant little bombs in it to blow it up. That didn't work. They summon all the Zords to try to stop the asteroid from hitting the planet. Like that almost didn't work, but then Zane came back with a new Megazord. Yeah, he's been gone for some episodes in the season. He went to go help the EKL-35 people with crap, whatever, it's a long story, whatever. He came back with a newly built Zord, and with that added boost, they were able to push the asteroid away from the planet. Oh, but before they tried to use the Megazords to push the asteroid away, Corone felt that the only way to stop the asteroid was to sneak onto the Dark Fortress and reprogram it. A really dangerous and stupid idea, but the Rangers went with it because they felt like there was no other way to stop the asteroid because they tried to blow it up and it didn't work, so meh. So yeah, she tried to sneak on there and she was caught by Ecliptor, and Darkonda had reprogrammed Ecliptor, and now he's like a new cyborg and he's really, really evil, and he kidnaps Astronema. And they feel like they've lost her for good. But yeah, but after the Rangers get rid of the asteroid, then they try to go after her. So Andros and Zane sneak onto the Dark Fortress to try to save Corone. But when they find her, she has been also reprogrammed like Ecliptor to be completely evil. And she's more evil than she ever had been in the show. Like, just completely evil. Just no feelings of emotions, just nothing. Oh, so cold, and I love it. So Andros couldn't save his sister, so he and Zane had to leave, and it was sad. But yep, it's a very good two-parter. I love it. One of my faves. And yes, I am aware of the popular fan theory that says that the Turbo Powers weren't really destroyed in the Turbo finale. It's just that the Rangers couldn't access them temporarily because planet Eltar had fallen. You know, I understand where the theory comes from because Justin said in the finale, you know, that their powers, that Eltar was the source of their powers, but I just don't take that line as literally as most fans do. I just see it more as they use technology from Eltar to make the Turbo Powers. I never really thought that their Turbo Powers were that dependent on planet Eltar. I just don't see it like that. I really see it more as just the power chamber blew up and then they lost their powers, and that's pretty much it. Because planet Eltar had already fallen to evil forces before they even fought Divatox. If their powers were relying on Eltar, then they should have already lost them before Demetria even left, you know. But whatever. And besides, those cars they have were said to be the most powerful cars in the universe. So if they're the most powerful cars in the universe, then I guess I can buy that they can power up some Turbomorphers again so that Justice can morph, and later TJ and Forever Red. in Wild Force, so, nah.